Houston, we have no problems. We got no problems because we have the Dangerous Music Monitor ST. Today I'm going to be reviewing just the overall unit, what I like about it, and any good alternatives for the price range. I want to give a sneak peek on the next video that I'm going to be uploading, and that is me reviewing the Apogee Symphony IO. I'm really excited to cover the Apogee Symphony just because it's well regarded in a lot of professional studios, and some of my favorite mix engineers like Bob Clearmountain, Sean Everett, and Mac DeMarco all use the Symphony IO. Apogee has a long history of creating some incredible converters and audio interfaces, and so if you don't want to miss out on the next episode, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. So this thing is the brains of my studio. It's my control center, the centerpiece of where all my inputs and my outputs come together. My favorite thing about this unit is the pristine quality of the audio. The Monitor ST has a computer-controlled gain system that accurately sets the volume within 0.02 dBs. It doesn't use any VCAs or DCAs, so the sound quality is the same whether you're listening at high or low volumes. Also, being able to integrate multiple speakers has forever changed my workflow. The ability to quickly A/B a mix on different monitors has improved my mix just because I can see if my mix translates on multiple speakers. I don't use subs in my room right now, but I love that I can integrate that into my studio whenever I want. Now let's take a deeper look at the unit. Alright, and so starting from the right side, you got your volume knob. This knob is an absolute position encoder, and so there are painted lines and there's detents, and so every time you move the volume knob, there's actually a relay switch that you can hear from the main rack, and so it's actually pretty satisfying just changing the volume. And what I love about this is that you're able to recall and kind of have like a mental note of what level you listen to music at, a quiet level or a medium level or a high level. And so even for me, I know that there's a certain line where I don't cross on the volume knob because I know it's too loud. Next, we have the speaker mute and solo section. And so for the speaker mute, you have 6 buttons. You have left, center, right, rear left, LFE, and rear right. And when you just purchase just the Monitor ST, that's really just for the left and right speaker. But when you purchase the Dangerous Music, the SR, it's kind of like an add-on to this. It allows you to integrate the center section, the rear left, LFE, which is for low frequencies, and then rear right. And so if you're just using the Monitor ST, you're mostly going to just be using the left and right button. But if you decide to get the integration, you'll be able to use all 6 of those buttons. For the speaker mute buttons, since I just have the Monitor ST, I'm usually just pressing the left or the right button. And so if I sometimes have to momentarily just mute the left speaker completely, I would just hit that left button, and then it's just a quick and easy way to kind of just hear what's coming out from one speaker. The TB button engages the talkback mic on the Monitor ST, and then the dim button reduces the volume of the speaker that you're listening to by 18 decibels. I use this all the time. It's really handy if you just need to quickly reduce the volume and you don't necessarily want to turn the volume all the way down and then all the way back up. And in the middle section, we have our inputs and our outputs. And so at the very bottom, we have our analog inputs 1 through 4. The inputs are all stereo pairs, and these are going to be the DB25 inputs on the back panel. And so button 1 will be, the stereo pair of channels 1 and 2. Button 2 will be the channels 3 and 4. Button 3 will be 5 and 6. And then button 4 will be 7 and 8. And on the top, you got the speaker selection, and these are all going to be the DB25 outputs of the Dangerous Monitor ST. And so same kind of situation, the main button is going to be channels 1 and 2, Alt 1 is going to be 3 and 4, Alt 2 is going to be 5 and 6, and then sub is going to be channel 7 and 8. There's also a low pass filter button that is assignable to the sub that you're selecting. And so if you want to low pass your sub so that you're really just hearing the lows, you can engage that button. In the middle, you have this additional switching section. And I was looking at the manual because I've never actually used this section, but it's basically for additional switching for audio or video selectors. I have not used them, so for this middle section, I'm just using the inputs and the outputs. And on the left section, we have the setup section. And so basically this allows you to fine tune the outputs and the inputs of the Dangerous Monitor ST, and you're able to, let's say you want to make speaker 2 a little bit louder than the mains. You basically hold the setup button, and using the up and down buttons, you can change the gain level of a specific speaker and a specific input. And so it's really handy if you want to kind of fine tune and make sure your inputs are at a consistent level or your outputs are at a consistent level. And then you also have this other button that lets you select if a device is going to be at negative 10 dB or plus 4 dB, which is really helpful. And then there's a 5.1 button if you have the 5.1 configuration set up on the Monitor ST. And then you basically have your mono button, which sums into mono, whichever speaker that you're listening to. And then the auxiliary button, which basically adds the aux to the main feed of the Monitor ST. Let's talk about the front panel. So on the left, you have the headphone jack where you can plug in some headphones, and then the level, which adjusts the overall volume of your headphones. The quality of the headphone amp is actually really good, and so I use this all the time when I'm recording and need to just put on some headphones. In the talkback section, you can either connect a remote microphone in the left side, or you can use the onboard microphone in the middle and level adjusts the gain of the microphone. The main to Q level control sends the selected input source to the Q amp, and the auxiliary input section sends the selected input source to either your Q section or your main section. The input 4 level control adjusts the overall gain of input 4, and some people use an iPod or an iPhone and connect it as input source number 4, and this basically helps you to A/B, a mastered track versus your mix. And by having this knob that allows you to adjust the gain, you can get a better feel for how your mix compares to a master track by turning the volume down of input source number 4. On the back panel, you have an auxiliary input that's a stereo input that basically you can put whatever you want in this and it will feed to the Q system or the main system. And then on the remote, you have the ability with the aux button to turn it on or off. The inputs and the outputs are standard DB25 connectors. The DC in is for your power supply. The talkback remote is, provided using the producer's remote that's from Dangerous Music. And then for the slate output, it basically feeds the output of the talkback mic, into your DAW or another speaker for the talent. The Q amp out is a jack that feeds into a level control device, like a little red Q box for talent headphones. And then the remote is the Cat 5e cable that is connected to your Dangerous remote. For alternative options, you have the Grace M905 and the Crane Song Avocet. These are found in a lot of professional studios and are quite expensive. I haven't had experience with these, but people seem to love these monitor controllers. On the more affordable end from PreSonus, you have the Central Station and the Monitor Station V2, which are in a pretty good price range. Dangerous Music also makes a unit called the Source, and it's similar to the Monitor ST, but just a little bit more compact and has simplified features like 2 speaker outputs and 2 inputs. If the audio quality is on the same level as the Monitor ST, then this could be a really good value deal. And that's all I got for this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop something in the comment section, and thanks for watching.